तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः वंदे गुरोर्मंडलम Shivoham. In the previous session, we took up Shiv Swarodaya, verse Na tithirnam cha nakshatram navaro griha devata na cha vishtirvyati pato vaidrityadhyas tathaiva cha. This verse has mentioned many elements of Kal Nirnay. Therefore, I decided to introduce you about the 5 elements of timekeeping or Kal Nirnay in Vedic astrology, that is also known as panchang. These 5 things are Var, Tithi, Nakshatra, Karan and Yog. So far we have covered 3 elements of Kal Nirnay, that is Var, Tithi and Nakshatra. The first line of this shlok also talks about Griha Devata that I will discuss towards the end of the session. But before that, let us get to the second line of the shlok. It says, Na cha vishtirvyati pato vaidrityadhyas tathaiva cha, followed by the next shlok which says, Koyogo nastyato devi bhavita va kadachan prapte swarbale shuddhe sarvamev shubham phalam. So here it uses words vishti, vyatipat, vaidriti, etc. Now you may be wondering, what are these strange sounding words? First, let's discuss the balanced 2 elements of panchang and then it will become clear. Let us take up the next element in the panchang, that is Yog. If you have ever consulted any astrologer to obtain a muhurat or auspicious time to start something new, you would be familiar with this word Yog. As with the nakshatras, the number of yogas are also 27 in number. Mathematically, Yog can be calculated by adding up the latitude of moon and sun and then dividing it by 13 degrees 20 minutes. If sum of sun and moon latitudes is greater than 360 degrees, you should subtract 360 from the sum and then divide it by 13 degrees 20 minutes. Now, actually, without getting into details of calculations, let us know the names and the sequence of the yogas. The first yog is Vishkumbh or pot of poison. Second is called Preeti or loving. Third yog is called Ayushman, means one that is beneficial to the vitality of age. The fourth is Saubhagya, which may be roughly translated as luck. Fifth yog is Shobhan, which means full of beauty or creating beauty. Sixth one is Atigand, which means extremely rough or full of big knots, blocks or joints. The 7th in the series is called Sukarma, which means doer of good work. 8th yog is Dhriti, which means patience. 9th yog is called Shul, which means pain or a pointed weapon that pierces. 10th is called Gand, which means joints or blocks. 11th yog is called Vriddhi, which means growth. 12th is Dhruv, which means utterly immovable or stable, fixed. 13th is Vyaghat, which means wounding or beating against something. 14th yog is called Harshan, which means a sense of happiness or joy. 15th one is Vajra, which means thunderbolt or struck by lightning. 16th yog is Siddhi, means accomplishment or accomplishing. 17th yog is Vyatipat, which means great calamity or contempt. Do you recognize this word, Vyatipat? No? Okay, go to the second line of the verse again. Na cha vishtir vyatipato vaidrityadhyas tathaiva cha. Here you have this word Vyatipat. Alright? Just wanted to remind you of the reason why we are going through this list. Let's move further. The 18th yoga is Variyana, which means suitable. 19th is Parigha, means iron mace or gada that you see Lord Hanuman with. 20th yoga is called Shiv, which means benignant, kind or friendly. 21st is Siddha. It is different from that the 16th yoga, which is Siddhi. Siddha means proven good and also means prepared. The 22nd yoga is called Sadhya, meaning that is worth achieving and even achievable. 23rd in the series of yoga is called Shubh, which means auspicious. 24th is Shukla, which means white but also pure or spotless. 25th yoga is Brahma, which means the divine spiritual essence or supreme spirit. 26th in the sequence is called Indra, which in Sanskrit means excellent or the king of gods. The last, that is 27th yoga, is called Vaidhriti, which would mean uncourageous, unresolute, devoid of joy and steadiness. If you have understood the word meaning of these yogas, it would be quite clear that those which are having negative attributes are not the preferred yogas. Thus, when these yoga such as Vaidhriti, Vajra, Vyatipat, Shul, etc. prevail, it is mostly not the auspicious time to take up any new task as per the astrological science. Out of these inauspicious yogas, Vaidhriti is the most inauspicious because during whole 24 hours for which this yoga runs, as per astrological advice, no new beginning should be made. The last element of the panchang is known as Karan. There are total 11 types of Karan distributed over lunar tithis. In fact, each of these Karans is associated with a particular tithi, but without getting into that details, let us get quickly to their names. They are Bhav, Balav, Kaulav, Titil, Gar, Vanij, Vishti, Shakuni, Chatuspad, Nag and Kintugna. Now you see in this list we have Vishti Karan at the 7th number. In fact, when Vishti Karan is prevailing, it is also called Bhadra, which is not treated as auspicious time. But this is no reason for a perfected Swar Yogi to be discouraged, because in the next shlok, Lord Shiva is saying, Kuyogo nastyato devi bhavita va kadachan prapte swarbali shuddhe sarvamev shubham phalam. For understanding the complete meaning, we will have to read both the shlokas together, as the previous shlok ends with the word cha, which means and. Thus, Lord Shiva says that all the bad yogas such as Vyatipat and Vaidhriti and bad karanas such as Vishti etc. can be omitted if one has proper strength of swars with him. In fact, if a bad yoga is present in the birth chart of any person, that person has to go through lots of issues throughout the life. When these yoga are in Bhadra or Vishti, that is the 2nd, 7th and 12th day of the lunar fortnight, is considered to be more inauspicious. But here it is said that even such a malefic yoga cannot do anything wrong to a person who has the knowledge of Swar Yog. A very distinctive feature of Swar Yog is that through its knowledge, we can change every inauspicious moment to an auspicious moment. Generally, before doing any auspicious task or important task like buying a house or entering a new house or starting some business, we always check the dates, day, placement of planets, stars and everything to make sure that the timing is right and blessings of all the gods is with us, so that we be successful in our endeavor. And many times when we cannot have this good muhurt due to any reason, we are not able to go forward with the task. Recently, I came across a situation where the need to have an auspicious moment actually broke a marriage. The marriage was fixed on a certain date by the groom's family, which was just in 2 days. And when it was shared with the bride's family asked their family priest, who said the date was not auspicious and there was no auspicious date for coming 2 months. And so they asked the groom family to cancel the marriage for 2 months. The groom's family was upset as they had already done all the preparations and they felt that the bride's family did not want the marriage to take place on the first place, so cancelled the marriage altogether. You also must have encountered such situations in life where having an auspicious date stalls the work that is very important to be done at that moment. When a person is having the complete knowledge and mastery of Swar, he does not have to consult the astrologers for the right time. Although, as you will understand Shiv's Swarodaya further, you will see that the Swar is matched with the dates, days and position of stars, that is nakshatra, and from this an auspicious moment is calculated. But the difference is that we are here actually synchronizing our own energies, our own Swar with the cosmic forces. So it is obviously very helpful in determining the right time. Swamiji Maharaj of Datia had this habit of forming the calendar as per the rules of Swar Yog for the whole year and would place his timings of his sadhana according to that calendar. But even if we are not able to find the best of dates, days or nakshatra, we can still more or less create moderate auspicious results for us by having pure strength of the Swar. And what is the pure strength of the Swar is something you will understand in further verses. That's all for today. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I bow down to the divine sitting in your hearts. Shivoham.